You've been lied to about strength. Be soft. Be nice. Stay comfortable. Sound familiar? Just pause. What if you're not broken at all, only untrained to build an untouchable mind? We live in a world that tells you to chase peace, yet never shows you how to make it. You crave freedom, and then, almost without noticing, hand your mind to every small distraction, every opinion, every rejection. You know, it isn't your fault, but it is your responsibility now. Because if you don't train your emotions, someone else will train them for you and turn them against you. The ancient Stoics understood this. You don't become strong by collecting quotes. You become strong by living the laws they lived. No fluff, no sugar, just habits that hold under pressure. Think of Marcus Aurelius guiding an empire through chaos without losing himself. Think of Epictetus, once a slave, turning hardship into mastery of his own mind. Think of Seneca, choosing steadiness with death in the room. Today we carry those habits into our century, not for comfort seekers, but for those who want command over thought, emotion, and direction. Don't just sit back and play this like background noise. This isn't content, it's a challenge. If you commit, truly commit by the end, you won't just look calm. You'll be hard to shake, emotionally untouchable. Habit 1. Master the pause before you react. How much trouble has speed caused you? One text that wounded a friendship, one insult that turned a conversation into a fight, one heated sentence that burned a bridge you can't rebuild, all because there was no breath between the spark and the fire. Modern life runs on reaction, fast replies, fast outrage, fast regret. We barely think. We just respond to comments, pings, and noise, and then sit with the consequences. The Stoic moves differently. He doesn't let emotion grab the wheel. He pauses. In that quiet just a second, he returns to himself and takes back control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." The pause is the room where everything changes the moment you separate emotion from action, impulse from choice, ego from clarity. Have you ever felt that small breath steady your hands? That 1 second, that soft silence might save your name, might save a relationship, might save you from a mistake you can't rewind. If you can be triggered, you can be controlled. If every comment yanks your mood, if every shift in someone else's energy drives your response, then you aren't in power, you're a puppet. The Stoic, though, is not delaying out of weakness. He's calculating. He knows words thrown in chaos come back with regret. Silence. That pause, it unsettles people because they expect a fight, they expect noise. When you refuse to give them that, when you simply observe, breathe, and stand where you are, you take away the control they thought they had over you. You show that your peace is not cheap, that your energy is not for sale, that your emotions don't dance to someone else's music. You want to be emotionally untouchable? Master this, not to shut down, but to show up differently. Not to be cold, but to be composed. Not to erase feeling, but to guide it. Next time something stings, just pause. Don't explain. Don't clap back. Don't justify. Walk if you need to. Breathe. Count slowly to 10. Say nothing. Let the feeling rise, but don't let it lead. Hold your energy like a blade, sharp, hidden, untouchable. Stay quiet long enough to hear what's true beneath the noise. The one who can pause owns the moment. And the one who owns the moment has the best chance to shape the outcome. You weren't built to be reactive. You were built to lead yourself, your emotions, your response. Every pause is a rep. Every rep is discipline. Discipline is control. Habit 2. Train discomfort like a muscle. Many men want to be strong but live as if they're made of glass. They won't skip a meal. They won't take a cold shower. They can't sit in silence for 5 minutes without reaching for a phone. They panic in quiet. They chase comfort as if it were safety, and then wonder why they fall apart when life lands a punch. They want strength but choose ease again and again. Comfort isn't a friend, it's a slow poison. It wraps you in softness and whispers that everything is fine, that you can avoid the edge forever, that the world will be gentle if you are gentle enough. But you and I know how it goes. When you put your edge to sleep, life wakes you up the hard way. The Stoics saw the trap long before screens and instant pleasure. Seneca, wealthy, powerful, chose simple hardships on purpose. A hard floor, rough fabric, plain food. Not to suffer for show, but to sharpen. He would ask, "Is this what I feared?" And in that honest question, fear lost its grip. You sit with your own mind and let the first waves of restlessness pass. You stop worshiping comfort before comfort dismantles you. Because if the only pain you know is the pain that ambushes you, you will fold. But if you've already walked through fire by choice, you'll carry a different calm when heat shows up. Can you feel how that shifts the center of your life from avoiding stress to building strength? It starts small and quiet. Lay a thin blanket on the floor. Let your body remember what your ancestors knew. Let your mind sharpen in the absence of cushions. Tomorrow, skip a meal, not as punishment, but as a lesson. Hunger can teach, and you can listen. Pick one small pleasure and put it down for a day. Pick one comfort and let it go. Face one honest fear and take one step toward it. Just pause. Notice the space it opens. Every time you practice this, you tell the world, and more importantly, you tell yourself, "I'm not here to be safe. I'm here to be solid." Because the person who trains with discomfort walks through chaos with steady eyes. Comfort softens, discomfort carves. And your new edge begins the second you stop running from a little pain and start choosing it wisely to become whole. From where we left off, choosing discomfort over ease, let's take it further. If you dull your edge, by the time you wake up, life has already landed the punch. The Stoics saw that danger long before TikTok and takeout made softness a habit. Seneca, one of the richest men in Rome, chose the hard floor, coarse fabric, and simple scraps not to suffer for show, but to sharpen, and he asked himself, "Is this what I was so afraid of?" In that honest moment, he became dangerous, because fear loses its grip on a person who has trained for hell. You don't wait for hardship. You meet it on purpose. You fast, you train, you sit with your own mind, and you kill comfort before it kills you. Because if the only time you suffer is when life ambushes you, you'll fold. But if you've already walked through fire by choice, you'll find yourself steady where others melt. At the gym when you're tired, in the conversation when you're scared, in the silence when you want distraction. That's where your edge is carved. So tonight, don't sleep in your bed. Spread a thin blanket on the floor. Feel the ground. Let your body remember what's been forgotten. And let your mind sharpen in the absence of cushions. Tomorrow, skip one meal, not as punishment, but as a reminder that hunger can teach, and you can listen. Then pick one pleasure and deny it. Pick one comfort and let it go. Face one fear and walk into it. Every time you do, you tell the universe, I'm not here to be safe. I'm here to be solid. Because the one who trains in discomfort walks through chaos untouched. Comfort softens warriors, discomfort builds them, and your new edge begins the second you stop running from pain. Habit 3. Kill the need for validation. Here's a hard truth. As long as you need to be seen, as long as you need to be liked, as long as you need to be understood by everyone, you will never be free. You'll keep twisting yourself into versions that win approval but lose your soul. You'll keep checking your phone, hoping someone got the message you'll post not to share but to be admired. And you'll stay quiet when you should speak just to avoid looking like too much. That's not peace. That's performance. That's slavery with a smile. The Stoic doesn't perform. He doesn't adjust his soul to fit a weak society, and he doesn't decorate his truth so others can digest it easier. He kills the need for validation not because he never feels it, but because he knows exactly how dangerous it is. Marcus Aurelius ruled millions, yet in his private notes he reminded himself, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." Read that again, just pause, and feel what it asks of you. You love yourself most, but you betray yourself fastest. For what? Likes, applause, validation from people who wouldn't notice if you disappeared. If your value depends on how others respond, you don't have value. You have performance anxiety. The Stoic speaks with clarity, not crowd-pleasing. He walks away when respect isn't offered. He tells the truth even if his voice shakes. And most importantly, he doesn't need to be understood because he already did that work inside. That is power. When someone mocks you and you don't flinch, when someone misunderstands you and you don't explain, when someone withdraws approval and you don't shrink, that's when you know, I'm not here to be accepted. I'm here to be aligned. You want to be emotionally untouchable? Then kill the habit of needing to be liked. It's poison. So here's your challenge, simple, quiet, and hard. For the next 24 hours, go dark. No posts, no stories, no checking who viewed what, no chasing reactions, no trying to be seen. Just exist. Write in a notebook, not on a timeline. Speak to yourself, not an audience. Look in the mirror, not at metrics. Let the silence feel heavy, let it burn, and then ask, have you ever really listened for that answer when no one was watching? Because if you don't know it, you'll spend your life being shaped by strangers. The Stoic doesn't need applause. He doesn't need claps, hearts, or followers. His validation comes from how he lives, not how he's liked. And when you get there, truly get there, you'll unsettle people because they can't manipulate someone who isn't chasing anything. That's the moment labels change. They stop calling you selfish, arrogant, cold, and start calling you respected. Habit 4. Detach from what you can't control. Here's the truth, and it stings a little, you know. Most of your suffering isn't because life is impossibly hard. It's because you're trying to control things you were never meant to hold. You try to control how people see you. You try to control the outcome of every risk. You obsess over the past. Picking up from detachment, let's ground it in your own life. You panic about the future, and you wake with that weight in your chest. It isn't the world or fate. It's your grip. You're holding everything so tightly that your hands stay full while your heart feels empty. The Stoic does something different. He lets go, not from weakness, but from wisdom. Epictetus put it plainly: make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. One line that could save you years of stress if you actually live it. So ask yourself, what can you really control? Your thoughts, your words, your actions, your response, your discipline, your focus. This is your arena. Everything else is outside your grip. The weather, other people's opinions, their respect, their loyalty, their love, the results of your work, whether something goes viral or vanishes that isn't yours to steer. Here's the shift. When you stop trying to control what isn't yours, you gain full command over what is. You stop chasing people and start elevating yourself. You stop obsessing over outcomes and start mastering the process. You stop collecting their words and start perfecting how you show up. That's the Stoic's edge. He isn't passive, he's precise. He doesn't float through life. He walks through storms, calm, focused, and unbothered. Because when your attention is internal, the outside world loses its power over you. Anytime you feel overwhelmed, ask one question: is this within my control? If the answer is no, release it. Let it slide off your shoulders, mentally cut the rope. You were never built to carry what was never yours. If the answer is yes, act with full force, no hesitation, no blaming, no waiting for someone to save you. You're in the driver's seat, so drive. Detach from the noise. Detach from their approval. Detach from the outcome, and attach your identity to discipline, effort, and clarity. The person who knows what is and isn't his to control becomes unshakable. Habit 5. Build an inner fortress. Most people build identities out of glass. Praise inflates them, criticism shatters them, and the worst part is they rarely notice until it's too late. One bad day ruins momentum. One rude comment cracks their confidence. One heartbreak erases their sense of worth because they built on noise instead of something real. The Stoic builds from the inside. He doesn't wait for compliments to feel worthy. He doesn't need a crowd to feel valuable. He doesn't rely on the world for peace, because the world is unstable. It shifts, it disappoints, it lies, yet his core remains untouched. Seneca said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." You don't arrive there by accident, you build it. You build a code, you build rituals, you build silence, you build a mental structure so solid that when the world shakes, you don't. So ask yourself, when chaos hits, what do you turn to? A screen, a substance, a person, or do you turn inward to discipline, to breathe, to the calm you've trained? Because when your inner world is chaotic, the outer world will always control you. But when your inner world is steady, the outside can scream, and you still walk with clarity. Start building. Wake early, train your body, journal with fire, sit in silence, recite your values, meditate with intention, not because it looks good, but because it's your armor. Every small act of discipline is a brick, and brick by brick you build a mind that doesn't break, not when you're rejected, not when you're lonely, not when life refuses to follow your plan because you've trained too hard to fold. Let others react, spiral, and chase dopamine and call it peace. You build quietly, ruthlessly. The person who builds an inner fortress doesn't need to yell, doesn't need to chase, doesn't need to prove. He simply shows up solid, focused, and untouchable. Habit 6. Sharpen the blade of self-discipline. Discipline isn't punishment, it's power. Most people live softly because they think motivation will carry them. They wait to feel like it. They wait to be inspired. They wait for the right time. Waiting is a weakness, and the Stoic doesn't wait. He moves with or without the feeling. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not a master of himself." Freedom isn't doing whatever you want. Freedom is doing what must be done, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, that is self-discipline. He shows up when it rains, when it's boring, when no one is watching, because consistency, not mood, writes the story. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire you tend every day, slow and steady. You know, he knows that action creates feeling, not the other way around. He begins, the mind follows, and the noise fades. Have you ever noticed how steady your breath becomes once you simply start? No drama, just the next rep, the next honest task, the next small promise kept. That's how you become trustworthy to yourself, by doing the thing, whether or not the rush shows up. And when you stop negotiating with your weaker voice, life gets quieter, decisions get simpler, the path clears. You're no longer waiting for a perfect morning or a perfect mood. You turn the key and move. Discipline makes room for freedom, because you are no longer pushed around by impulse, delay, or excuse. It's gentle, but it's firm. Get up, begin, keep going, just pause, and then take the step. Little by little, your days stack. Little by little, you become the kind of person you said you would be. There's no applause in that room, only the sound of your own feet moving forward. And strangely, that's enough. That quiet, steady freedom is the mark of mastery, the proof you lead yourself every day. From discipline as your daily fire, let's carry that heat into what comes next. It isn't flashy, it isn't loud, but discipline is the edge that separates warriors from the weak. You want a body that holds? Discipline. You want wealth that lasts? Discipline. You want peace that stays? Discipline. Every honest goal bows to it. But here's the trap. Many people mistake discipline for burnout, as if strength means grinding until you break. No. Real discipline is smart, clean, and consistent. It's saying no when cravings scream yes, getting up when comfort begs for more sleep, showing up when no one is watching, living by design, not by mood. Start small. Make your bed perfectly. Eat clean with intention. Move your body daily. Work in focused blocks with no distractions. To go to bed on time. No excuses. Track it ruthlessly and build momentum until it becomes identity. Discipline isn't only something you do, it becomes who you are. And once you become it, people will wonder how you do so much, how you stay focused, how you keep rising. They may call you obsessed, but obsession is simply consistency pointed at a worthy aim, and that consistency makes you lethal. While others describe plans, you execute. While others complain about their mood, you keep going. While others chase balance as an excuse to drift, you quietly build legacy. So if you want peace, earn it. If you want respect, embody it. If you want results, live like it. Discipline is the blade, sharpen it daily, because no matter how chaotic life gets, the disciplined person stays locked in, not reactive, not fragile, focused, unstoppable, untouchable. Habit 7. Choose purpose over pleasure. Most men live under one question, and that question ruins kings. It seduces you toward dopamine instead of discipline, scrolling instead of building, quitting instead of pushing, chasing women, likes, comfort, anything to avoid your own reality, and then you wonder why you feel lost. Men who chase pleasure as a lifestyle end up broken not because life is unfair, but because they traded their crown for comfort. The Stoic asks a different question. What is my duty? Not what feels good. What is required of me? That shift changes everything. Marcus Aurelius woke each morning with a reminder. Get up. You were born to do this, not to relax, not to indulge, to lead, to serve, to live with discipline and purpose. Real purpose is rarely pleasant in the moment. It's hard, uncomfortable, demanding, but it leaves you fulfilled. It builds you instead of breaking you. So ask yourself, what is your mission? Not your fantasy, not a dreamy projection. Your mission. What must you do even if no one claps? What must you finish when you're exhausted? What must you face though it terrifies you? Align your habits, thoughts, and actions with that, and you become untouchable. And that direction cuts through chaos like a sword. While others float, you march. While others consume, you create. While others numb, you feel, fight, and rise. Reject the lie that happiness is the goal. Choose meaning. Choose weight. Choose the path that forges fire in your spine. That's where peace lives, where strength grows, not in pleasure, but in purpose, and the person who chooses that cannot be moved by the world. You've made it this far, and that already sets you apart. Most people tap out when discomfort rises, they scroll away, they quit, they numb before truth can reach them, but you stayed. You listened, you reflected, and maybe, just maybe you're ready to change. But listening isn't enough. Knowing isn't enough. You have to live this daily. Life won't get easier, but you can get stronger, stronger in your habits, stronger in your emotions, stronger in your mind. This isn't about perfect. It's about being forged, fire-tested, tempered, unshakable. That is Stoicism. That is what you're becoming, so walk forward not as someone hunting for peace, but as someone who creates it quietly, powerfully. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs people who are calm under pressure, grounded in storms, and untouchable in spirit. And if you keep walking this path, that man will be you. Before you go, take a breath, then take a step. If this message served you, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what's next. Like the video if it helped, and explore the playlist, Stoic Wisdom. Mastering emotions and inner strength to keep the journey going. If you're ready to put this into practice today, choose one habit to honor before you sleep. A clean room, a 10-minute walk without your phone, 5 lines in a journal naming what you can and cannot control. Tomorrow, choose duty over mood, set a simple target, show up once, then once more. Have you noticed how a day changes when the first decision is clean? That's how momentum is born, quietly, before sunrise. And when urges pull you back to the old loop, just pause. Ask, does this serve my purpose or just my comfort? You'll feel the difference in your breath. Purpose may not make you smile right away, but it will let you sleep with a steadier heart. Keep returning to it when noise gets loud, when people misunderstand, when outcomes wobble. You don't need applause for this work. You need honesty, patience, and a calm return to the next right action. Take that with you and meet me in the playlist to keep building the spine of your day. Start now. Stay steady, stay strong, stay deeply calm. This is the Stoic Room.